Everyone, welcome to the Sunday show. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome here. And, we got to take the rough with the smooth, and today's a rough one. I wanted to speak from a commanding position about the referees. And now it just looks like I'm going to be whinging a little bit about referees and the standard of officiating in the Premier League. Arsenal lose today 3-1 at Old Trafford. Um, we couldn't improve on last season's result where we lost there as well to a three-goal Ronaldo. Um, I thought today was a loss of control in key moments for us, and we built this team on control and controlling the ball. I thought we would possess the ball a lot more. I thought we rendered a lot of respect to them in the first half and allowed them to have the ball too much. And many will say we played well today. I thought we lost the game in key moments. And the breakdown in key moments against a team like Manchester United, who can hit you on the counter attack, is deadly to me. Mikel Arteta said in the All or Nothing documentary that he takes the shit. So he's going to face the media now and take the shit for the team. Uh, I equal parts blame on this one, the players and the manager. For me, the manager makes a triple substitution in the 72nd minute, um, and we lose the goal moments after. A third goal, I think it was. Was bringing three players on in the 72nd minute too many? Did it unbalance us? We will discuss it. We won't agree on everything. I see Gary shaking his head slightly. So, Gary, you want to get into it after me? What were your initial thoughts, Gary, on this?
Coming into the game, the first thing I said was, let's see how we come out and play in the first 20 minutes. And before I continue on, hello, everybody in the chat. See Henry Ray Baker, BX Gunner, Tony Turner, Steve Denham. Welcome to the show. I said, you know what? The way we've been playing all season, we typically can jump on teams in the first 20 minutes. And that's one of the things I was saying when I was on Mr. Arsenal channel earlier today. That first 20 minutes, I kind of think I forgot about it, but first 20 minutes, that's the way we've been starting games. We needed to start exactly like that. It isn't as if United's defense has been that solid that we couldn't have been able to get something out of the game. And the fact that we seem to be timid about going after them and trying to get a lead early, says a lot about how this game played out. You kind of can't let teams get confident that they can get something out of it. And we did that, and we paid for that today. They got, they got the first goal after, a kind of a bad defensive mistake on us. The other goals also, I believe, are all defensive mistakes, typically on our back line. The last thing I remember saying after thinking about it a little bit more is they picked on that. They picked on our right side of our defense. And then if you go back and you look at the Crystal Palace game, it looked just like that towards the end of the game. They realized they could get something out when they started putting the ball on that side of the pitch, and that happened today. People are going to probably go after to White a little bit for me. Mm-hmm. And they picked on that side, and they were able to get a lot of stuff going from there. And I don't think the subs had anything to do with that, because White basically kept Rashford on side there, and that had nothing to do with the new attackers and stuff that we brought on at that point. And he got beat like that earlier. Same thing, he just was just a step slower, and they were able to attack from that side of the pitch for those last two goals. And as a whole, the back line kind of punished themselves with the way that they lined up, or the risk that they took. And if you look at it, Gabriel takes the risk in the first goal, and they're able to get a man out on the right hand side, and Anthony, to just place it in the far corner there. And what do? We had opportunities to score as well. So some would say we played our best game, but that doesn't work work anymore. It worked last season when we were coming up. And, you can go back to a City game and go back to a Liverpool match and say we played really good for a half. This game we played much better for more than a half, I think. Yeah. And when you don't score, you get punished for it in this league. And we didn't score. Yeah. So we got punished.
Obviously, a combination of not scoring and not defending very well and not having that structure in front of the back four. Yes, Ben White offside, keeping the player onside for that killer third goal. And then we knew it was up at the end right there. Stan gets settled in. I'll go to Tony next. Stephen said, "Hi, guys. I'm not saying nothing in the chat today, just watching. Maybe it's one of those things. If you say something, you might regret what you say." Tony?
Uh, to me, we came out slow out of a block. Finally started coming into the game, but we gave them way too much possession in the first half. We could have had a goal, but judged a foul, which it probably was a foul.
That's not a foul. Stop
Soft.
it.
That's soft.
Stop it. Think about it. McTominay, minutes before that, put two hands in the back of Jesus. It wasn't considered a foul. Two hands in the back, pushed him out of bounds. So to say that that was a foul on Christensen is basically giving the officials the out. And that's not, nah. I'm not going to, nah. We knew going in that's how we're going to have to play, but that you can't say that was a foul if the other one wasn't given as a foul.
They're inconsistent all the time, Gary. It's still a foul.
Not the way it was called.
Okay, Tony, gonna finish your opening sequence and we'll get to Stan, or you'll hold your silence till the next round.
Yeah, kind of like what Stan said Thursday. Last game we had 26 shots. This time we had 16, only 3 on target. Still not clinical near enough. And just seemed like we were up for the game to start with. We got into it a little too late. Always fighting from behind and just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, Stan, I wanted to go into this game with swagger, not stagger. I titled the podcast Swagger or Stagger because no matter what the media will tell you, winning 5 games in this league is not an easy thing to do. But you kind of have to back up your credentials at the end of the day. You go to Old Trafford with 5 wins in your back, and that should give you a confidence to go there and fight. First thing you need to do in football is fight to earn the right to play football, and then you need to go and show your quality. And we did that in patches, but we weren't consistent, I thought.
So I completely missed the first half of this game because I got my times wrong. So I got up an hour late, realised I'd set my clock wrong. So I missed the first half, but I thought going into the game that we maybe had enough to come away from Old Trafford with a point at least.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't confident that we would get a win. Obviously, I wanted it, but I wasn't confident. So a little bit disappointed, but I'm sure as we get into it, I'm interested to listen to you guys because, as I say, I missed a lot of the first game. And then in the second half, I kind of switched off towards the end. And, the game looked like it was past saving. So I'll listen to what you guys have to say so I can get a vibe of what went down.
Let me just hit you then with the first hypothetical, Stan. So imagine the referee's looking at a challenge 15 yards away and he has a clear view of the challenge. It's a very soft foul for me if they're calling it back from the goal. But Erdegaard touches the leg of Eriksen and has one hand on Eriksen's shoulder. It's very soft for me. Eriksen goes down and Saka plays a ball through the middle inside the fullback to Martinelli. Martinelli finishes a really, really good finish from about 16 yards out into the corner. Referee has let all of that go, didn't call anything, and the goal seems to stand until the commentary say maybe VAR should notify the referee that there's something there to look at. So that's the scenario without you seeing the incident.
So how long was it that VAR took to start of get involved? Why
Probably 20 to 30 seconds, I would say.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it, so it's difficult to say. But I mean, did the referee then go over and take a look at the screen?
Absolutely.
And the goal was chalked off
under the advisement. He'd seen the whole incident. Now, from a different angle through VAR, he gets a lot more angles to look at the incident. But this is the type of thing that we have been plagued with VAR this weekend, let alone seasons gone by. But I'll let Gary have his say on that one as well, because Gary, you would have seen all the angles. You saw what we saw, right, Gary?
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
Can I just ask a question? What time in the game did our goal get chalked off? How long into
11
that?
minutes.
12th minute.
And
Early
that would have been the first goal of the match.
Yep. Yeah. And goals count, and goals not given count as well, in my opinion, because it changes the whole complexion of the game. Gary?
yeah, no. I think you see those types of things happen. I mean, two players coming together and one going down. A lot of times we keep hearing, "Oh, he just went down a little too easy there." This was one of for me, and probably for a lot of people in red shirts or black shirts today. It looked like a really soft foul to be given in the first place, and the fact that they can go back and look at that, but then you look at other matches and they don't go back and look, and you're like, that's interesting. Why wouldn't you go back and look? Even in this game, later in the game, I think there's probably a foul that could be given on either, I think it's Stagger, or is it, I can't remember who's, or Jesus in the air in the box, and they don't even look at that one, right? And that should be a penalty. And so it's not consistent like we knew going into this thing. The fact that they can go back like this for just a common foul and say, you know what, that negates everything that happened afterwards is
They review all goals, Gary.
It's killing the game. It's killing the game. Either you make the call there or you don't. That type of thing. I understand sometimes they say a handball could have felt, but you make the call. Just make the call then, because it just, all you do is just add extra part. You take away parts of the game. If that's called a foul, it's done. We don't even get the attack, and we don't take the shot and miss, and then they go back in history and say, you know what, that didn't really happen. And like, we just saw the ball go in the net. No, it didn't really happen because a minute ago you guys put a foul in, and it should never have happened. Even though, like you said, the official standing there looking at this thing doesn't think it's a foul.
Doesn't think it's a foul. 20 seconds earlier, they review all the goals, Gary.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm saying the process is wrong, because either they make the call, or they don't, or they let it go, because that's too much.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's too much. I think. I mean, they did it yesterday. They did it yesterday with another foul.
Coming in.
Nobody's gonna
robotic stand.
And in which game was it? Where the goalkeeper, they said the man fouled the goalkeeper, and then the goal that was scored right after that, they said nope, doesn't count.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, like it's not a contact sport like you're tackling each other, but players do come together, so you're gonna have some contact. If not, we'll never be able to play football, because you're just playing with a halo, with an offensive player with the ball can get all the space he needs, and that's not the way this game is played. So there is going to be contact. Some players will try to draw a foul. Like I said, a couple minutes before that, 2 hands in the back isn't considered a foul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the official could have said, no, I didn't see a foul there, and then they move on. Said, I saw the contact, but I didn't see a foul that warranted me to blow the whistle. That's why I didn't blow it. He can say that, and then VAR can say, but you should look at it. I'm like, I saw it. I saw it. If you're the official and you saw it and you said, you know what, that's these two players coming together. He went down too softly. That's that's what my recommendation for what happened there. You don't need to go to VAR at that point.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing, because what they're saying is he didn't see that at all, but you can see him standing there looking at the ball. Aston has the ball. That's where he's looking. He's not looking elsewhere. It's not like two players off the ball and they have contact. So. Yeah, it's for me, it's hurting the sport to some degree, because VAR, I don't think it was intended to correct the entire sequence of play, and they keep doing that. And we saw too much of it this weekend. It's nobody. No, Only the people. There's only probably one or two people out there talking about it from like the commentary, or that actually thought it was a good call. A lot of people in the game that have talked football did not like the way that is, because it just takes now. You can't play football anymore.
Exhibit said the Arsenal defense sucks when Ronaldo came in, big hole, and goes on to say, especially the third goal, three players press Ronaldo. Bruno get the ball and give it to Ericsson. No defense there. Too focused on Ronaldo. Stan, you were going to ask a question, and welcome here.
I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, you got your microphone's a little bit
robotic,
and
There's not very much I can do about that, I'm afraid.
no.
It's hard to hear what you're saying, though.
Then I won't play anything.
Optimus.
We want to
Stan.
hear you. That's the problem, and we do want to hear you.
Stan, you sound like an Autobot.
If my mic don't work, it's not like I can do
Go back out and come back in.
He sounds like one of those toys.
You
You
sound
know
like
those toys you buy for your youngsters, and then it goes. It goes
Stephen Hawking. I just thought we got ourselves out of shape, and I think a lot of Arsenal players try to do more than they should be doing. Gabriel, you're a defender. You really shouldn't be 40 yards out from your goal trying to do something that, our midfield should be in
Did you
front
see where
of.
the back line was?
Yeah.
Yo,
He was about 3 or 4
Danny,
feet
all
from
of them
them.
were there.
It wasn't the fact that they were higher up the pitch; it's that he went in on a tackle. He wasn't. It wasn't as if the entire back line was sitting on the 18 and he was sitting at the 38. No, it wasn't.
It's
If you look, the
decisions.
back line was there. He went in to make a tackle, and basically, like you said, created that space on the left hand side on the left hand side coming at them, or the right hand side coming at them, and yeah.
Mic check, Stan.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that all right?
Better. Much
So-
You
better.
don't
Yeah,
sound like an
perfect.
Autobot or a Decepticon anymore.
I was just wanting to ask you guys, this foul that you're talking about, how it compared to the foul on Saka in the previous game where he was brought to the ground and there was no penalty shout. Or did it, as in obvious or not obvious?
It was one of those type of fouls that the referee either gives or doesn't give in a split second. Yes, the referee has to make a decision on the field in the split second. And a lot of these referees, as we thought now with VAR, are deigning to defer those decisions to be cleaned up, or sanitized in a room that's miles away from the pitch. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not right. You can't go back and re-referee every incident that happened. The game is not
That's
perfect.
what I wanted to ask also. I also wanted to follow up what Stan said. Like, are they leaving these refereeing decisions like seconds later? Because even I think was it Newcastle or Aston Villa and Leeds all got robbed off something like that. But I
Yeah.
think the Aston Villa one was bad because apparently the goalkeeper reached out to get it, and then the goal was disallowed. But the foul was like, it's like, for example, Odegaard gets the ball, right? Martinelli comes across and Martinelli inadvertently runs into them, and then they're giving the opposition a foul
That
for
was
that.
that was the Crystal Palace Newcastle game where a player got pushed into the goalkeeper, and that wasn't given as an own goal. The own goal was chalked off, even though the Newcastle player pushed into his own keeper. The other one was the Chelsea game where the goalkeeper was deemed to be fouled, and West Ham don't get the equaliser. And then when they talk about Aston Villa is linesmen are supposed to let the play run, but they actually flagged for offside when Coutinho was not offside.
Like what's going on? Do you guys think VAR should just be scrapped? Somebody was saying earlier on to me. Maybe VAR should just be scrapped, and we should go back to being able to discuss these kind of decisions, whether or not, like, it's more interesting that way. In my opinion.
Yeah. Now you got a goal scored and you're not actually sure if it's a goal. Unfortunately, it's taking the passion out of the game. Helen asked, "Do you think the Gooners will start to slip down the table, or can they put this result behind them and get to winning again and putting another run together?"
I
I
think
know
so.
Stan. That's something that Stan has mentioned before, and we can't have these runs of 2 or 3 defeats in our schedule. So next game up, it must be a return to a win for us.
I think that we've shown in the last few games that when we go behind in a match, other than today, obviously, we can sort of like get ourselves out of it a little bit
Yeah.
and correct the deficit. So now it's going to be an important test to see that now that we've lost a match, how we react when we go into the next match, because the next game is when? Is it on Thursday?
Yep, Thursday.
Well, the Europa League.
So there's no time for licking wounds. You've got to get ready to get into the next game. So I'm going to be interested to see how this team bounces back and focuses onto the next match.
Yep. Absolutely.
That'll be important. Would we take Ross Barkley on a free? We're probably not going to do that. We are, like it or not, we are trying to identify the best players to take squad positions, and that's what the.
Would you have Navigator on the free or Ox?
Keita, I know. Well, Naby Keita or Ox have not been named in their Champions League squads, so there's a clear indication to those 2 players. We know what that's like. We had a couple of players not in our Europa League spot a few years ago. Arsenal goal disallowed. That makes Arsenal players mentally a little bit dropped. And I think there's a little bit into this as well. Here's my take on it. Goal gets chalked off through VAR. Arsenal players try to get themselves a little bit out of shape and do more than they need to do. If the players play within the system, I believe the system will help them get back into the game. And we did that. We got back into the game in the 65th minute through, or 60th minute through Saka. And for a couple of minutes, we looked like we were going to go on and win that game. We were all thinking about 3 points at that point in time. But
I think 2-1.
Key breakdowns in through midfield killed us. Just killed us, So where do we go from here? We want to talk about the first goal. We want to go through the game itself. Gary, where should we go with this? Help me.
No, going into this match, everybody said we're gonna have to not only beat the 11 players on the pitch, we're gonna have to beat officials, we're gonna beat VAR, and for me, we had to keep the crowd quiet. To some degree, we did that almost. We're gonna have to be clinical. I mean, pick anything you want. Everything that we needed to do in this match, we weren't able to do. We did come back and get the draw. That get it back to 1-1. And then, as you said, and then after that, that's when, if there's anything that we did offensively wrong, that's when the defense needed to hold up, and we didn't do that. So you want to talk? I mean, because we definitely had our chances. Just pick anything. We just as a whole, we just had a really bad game.
How did you? Let's go through the first half overall. How did you feel? I felt we gave them a little bit too much respect, or was that something that Manchester United pushed on us too much, Gary?
We can't be. We can't get bullied into rolling over and giving a team what they want. And we did, like you said, we definitely did that. And I don't know if that's just the approach we had coming into the game, that we weren't going to, open ourselves up. But we typically come into games where you knew like we definitely have opportunities to score in that first 20 minutes, not as many as I would have liked. So I kind of think we did come out really timid in that game. It was a big game, and we didn't want to let it get away from us. But we have to play our style of football. Our style of football has gotten us to where we are today. And we did not do that first 20 minutes. It didn't look like any of the other games we played where you sat back and went, well, we should have scored here, and we didn't do that as much.
I think this, Tony, this is a key situation where I think the players got a little bit, they lost control of the game in key moments. Again, I'm going to say that. Players trying to play outside of themselves. I thought Ramsdale got very jittery around that time we lost those two goals, and that's been a feature of.
But they didn't hurt us. Ramsdale didn't hurt us in this game.
He wasn't.
We didn't lose because of Ramsdale.
He didn't transmit.
We
He
lost
didn't
because of the
trans.
back line. All three goals is the
Ramsdale
back line failing him. Each time he's a one-on-one with a goalkeeper. It's one-on-one with a goalkeeper with a run. They got to run at the goalkeeper. All three of them. You can't call that and say, "Oh, well, he did make stops. He did make a stop on Bruno, right? When the same thing
when he
again,
gave the ball
one-on-one.
away.
Yeah,
He gave the ball away, Gary.
but the other three he didn't. They didn't score when he
No,
screwed up. So I
no,
don't know
but
what we
we've.
can't complain about Ramsdale when he didn't. They did not score when he made a mistake. He
All I'm
recovered it.
saying
He
is
redeemed himself.
Ramsdale has not transmitted the composure that we needed. We've seen it in previous games. He's been a little bit rash in a couple of areas, and it didn't help. It didn't transmit well into the team.
Playing out through the back nearly caused us another mistake.
Didn't take
Yeah,
the
he's
game
not.
off the neck when the opportunity presented itself. Fatal mistake. Let's go through a few other comments here. Nerdscapes here. Sup. For some Arsenal therapy, I think Paul Tierney is one of our own, signed United fans. And, you know, this is the thing. There's so many referees from the northern half of England. If Arsenal mentality dropped, then it would be worse. Fuming about this performance, says Nerdscape. Not even close for me, Stan. It was softer than melting butter. I think we lacked height in attack. That's going to be a feature. Crosses, nobody on the end of them need to shoot more, and we need to be more clinical. We're not going to be able to beat Lisandro Martinez through the air because we don't have tall players ourselves unless it is a corner. If this Arsenal side are to do anything, they got to get some fortitude and a bastard element, bold Adams, etc. This is the litmus test, Tony, that the media are going to package this against us, and until we put in performances to shut down that narrative, it's going to continue.
Yeah, it's a really first true challenge we should have had. We came out like we do against these bigger teams. Arteta sets us up to be passive. That's not how we win. That's not how we play. So I don't know why he does it in these big games. Absorb the pressure. Just doesn't work. It makes everybody nervous. And like you said, Ramsdale isn't calm and collected like he should be. He's always brash. He's always yelling. He's just not as calm as he should be back there. Makes a lot of mistakes doing the short passes in the back. I don't know why we keep doing it. We can mix it up. We did that last year. We started doing a lot more long balls. At near the end of the season, we started playing it short again. And guess what? We started losing games. So you have to have a mix of long and short. But as far as your question there, kind of failed our first litmus test. Wasn't there good enough? Especially in the first half. Second half, they gave us more of a ball, but we didn't do anything with it. And we're at the same point we were last year. We're not clinical enough. That's why we needed to go find a second striker. We didn't do that. Now we're stuck with Eddie, who really isn't a clinical striker to begin with. He just happens to find himself in space and usually taps it in. That's what he does. He hasn't done anything yet. So,
Matt here. What have you got?
I want to follow up on Tony's thing.
Yep.
Exactly why didn't we go? But why didn't we sign anybody? Exactly why didn't we go sign a second striker, a DM, a destroyer, Neves, Tielemans, Tony? Why didn't we go sign Pedro Neto? Why didn't we go splurge the cash? We had the money to go buy Rafinha. We had the money to panic buy Douglas Luiz for 20 mil. I wouldn't have been happy with that, but it would have been an extra body that you can bring on. Our bench has nothing. Why didn't we go sign any players? Would you guys not have felt more comfortable with the Yuri Tielemans coming on, with the Neves coming on, with the Tony coming on in this game? I would have been much more comfortable. And how much do you want? How much do you guys want to bet? We would have gone on and won this game. 90%. Sorry, my epic
Yeah.
rant was
Uh,
very short.
Look, the bench today, the substitute bench today: Turner, Tomiyasu, Cedric, Holding, Tierney, Emil Smith-Rowe, Vieira, Marquinhos, and Nketiah.
I mean, Vieira had a good game though, but for the short time that he was on, I liked a few qualities of his. But
It's
in all, the
disappointing.
team just wasn't. I don't know. They just weren't up for the fight.
It's disappointing that Vieira had to play his debut in this game as well, coming on in
No,
in that triple substitution. Stan, you look
like
like
that.
you got something to say.
When you bring on a substitute like Eddie Nketiah, his job isn't there to see the game out. He's there to, he's there to do something,
Get on the end of
to
things.
try and give you a little bit more. And he just doesn't seem to. When he comes on, I don't think to myself, "Oh yeah, Eddie's going to come on. He'll maybe get us a goal." It's been the 6 games now, and I've not seen it. So maybe we'll talk about Eddie
Then you're not going to see it anytime
in a
soon.
little bit more detail. But when he comes off the bench, I don't see it as an extra threat at the minute.
I'm
willing him on. I'm willing him on to try and break his duck.
On Thursday night, we can have this discussion because I really feel he'll lead the line against Zurich on Thursday night in the Europa League. And it's when he starts getting full games. He should have done more. He should have scored a goal or two by now, in my opinion, with all the time he's got.
But you still can't compare Europa to the Premier League, right?
Doesn't matter. We need to score goal. He needs to score goals.
He needs to get started.
So regardless of where we're playing, because people are going to turn around and say, "Well, he was playing Fulham. Didn't really matter." No, every match that he plays that he doesn't score in is a lost opportunity for him. Like you said, we brought him in late in this game because we needed to have him go in there and put pressure on that back line. He didn't do it as well as he's done it in the other games. I mean, I know he hasn't scored in those games, but he definitely put pressure on the back line. He didn't do that today, and that was the team was just lacking in that kind of assertiveness. In parts of the pitch, definitely on both sides of the pitch, in the attacking third, defensive third, we just looked like we weren't on it today, and we paid for it. Especially on the offensive side. We needed to score.
Exhibit said, well, to be honest with you guys, when Ronaldo came in, it's not a good thing to use a high defensive line or a 7 attract Arsenal defensive line. We can see the big hole from the second and third goal. And Arsenal are trying to push up high to, maintain possession. The problem was it was gaping holes through the middle of our midfield, and we were caught on the break. Stan?
I remember looking at the TV and thinking, like, look at that hole, that space at the back there.
Yeah,
it was like an ocean. I mean, I get it that you're chasing the game, but you still have to cover your ass, because you're chasing the game, and what happens? You're trying to get one back so that you can be on equal terms again, and you let them in to score another one, and now you're done. It's curtains. Do you know what I mean? It's curtains after that.
So when you start chasing the game like that, it's. And I thought we were chasing the game at 0-0 even. I thought we were getting a little bit out of shape at 0-0. Gabriel is another one of these players that he scores goals for us. He gets us out of some situations, but he is always suspect to making an error here and there. And this is the top level now. This game felt like another game of significance. We haven't played Manchester United in recent years where it's felt significant to us. It's been a lower card tie. It's been, an undercard tie. It's not been in the top echelons of the Premier League where we're fighting Manchester United. And it goes to serve. These past few years it's gone to serve. We lose at their place. We beat them at our place. And at some point in time, Arsenal have to step forward and make that transition to winning these bigger games, especially away from home. Steven said, I'm going to go watch this back later. The referee won't have to pay for his or his family's season tickets to Salford FC, the team he supports. Russ said Rashford does literally nothing else all year except score against us. Grinds my gears. Tony, are you advertising milk, Tony?
Nah,
You're on that here.
Me and Mahir both are.
You're matching up a lot. The last Sunday as well, which got a nice amount of views as well last Sunday. I think
Two
it's not really
podcasts back to back, yeah.
the players' problems. We can't use the same tactic against many teams. So, well, I thought we did quite well in the first half, right? Notwithstanding, of course, losing that goal to Anthony, worked it in there. We did give him that debut goal. We knew Zinchenko, while good going forward, was always prone to be defensively shaky a little bit at times, Tony. And Gabriel makes the first mistake for that Anthony goal, but the player is being met on the edge of the box, and Zinchenko collapses in as well, allows the ball to get pushed through. And I thought Zinchenko should have really stayed out wide a little bit and marked the person and not double up on that one player.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Zinchenko play in the night. It seemed like what they're talking about, he's still injured, kind of the same with Odegaard. Neither one of them looked as good as they had been. But with all this pressing we do, there always going to be the slight defensive errors that you get killed on, especially in the second half when we're even pushing it even further. And you can land a helicopter back there. We're pressed up. You can't make mistakes at all because you got 30 yards of clear space behind you. And that's what happens. You have to be precise. And it's happened to the best of defenders. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're up there, not far up the pitch, you're going to make errors every once in a while. And unfortunately, most of the time you're going to pay for it. Person that high.
So it hurts even just to put that caption up there. Man United 3, Arsenal 1. Loss of control in key areas. Here we had a month of Saturdays in August. August was very good to us, 5 wins in a row, and now we face September. We've got 2 more games. People are asking what the next game is. I think it's Everton is the next game, and then Brentford. But immediately it's Zurich in the Europa League. I'm looking at the Premier League. Here we got to get back to winning ways next Sunday against Everton at home.
Yeah. So maybe after we beat Brentford, we can just pull Tony into our dressing room and be like, "You're one of us now. Here's your jersey."
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult game as well, going away to Brentford. That's not going to be easy.
You know what?
Everton played well against Liverpool as well.
100%. They put him to a draw. And I mean, I haven't seen my big mouth cousin yet anything about their draws to Everton and stuff. I'm still to do that tonight. I think I'm in a very good mood. Yeah, I'm in a bad mood, but in a good mood in that sort of way. But this is our opportunity to jump a little bit more ahead, to carry on the good form because, like you said, Everton and Brentford, I want to see 2 wins. So hopefully we bounce back. And then obviously on to some really, really, really big games.
The North London Derby, and then into October.
Then we've got, I think we've got Liverpool. We've got, who's it? Liverpool. We've got them lot down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then
City.
I think City also somewhere there. But I know those 2 big ones.
It's right there in the caption below. It's right there.
There we go.
Yes, Stan. Before we get into the second half, it's Everton now. I'm gonna look at Thursday and think we can easily win that game in the Europa League, but it's Everton now to turn up, and Everton looked quite decent against Liverpool yesterday.
I didn't see the game yesterday. I've not watched Match of the Day yet, so I didn't see that. But seems to me that the problem is, I mean, Tony highlighted it earlier, right? That we'd had 16 chances and only 3 of those are on target. Previous game we had something like 22 chances. So we're creating chances, but we're not putting them away.
Yeah, absolutely. Stand there wasting, man. Like, Eddie Nketiah, How do you rate him? I want to ask you personally. What do you rate him out of 10
Me
as our
personally,
second striker?
I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Europa League to see. Cause I'm trying to understand what his level
Come
is.
to the form.
Hmm.
Okay.
No, I just want to know what
Come
his
to the
level
form.
is, right?
Yeah,
So I think he seems to. I don't know what I want him to do well, but he's not. For me, he's a striker. He's paid to score goals. Yes, he's come on and he showed a lot of energy, but what's the point in getting into a goal scoring position where you're one on one with the goalkeeper and you just put the ball wide?
Yes.
You don't even get it on target and force a save. And that
Yeah.
happens all too often for me with Eddie and Ketia. And it can't be a lack of confidence because, as I mentioned before, he's had everything provided to him from the club. You know, a new contract, a shirt, the shirt number of his choosing, praised by the manager. So he's been made to feel comfortable and he's been given a lot of minutes as well. He had over 20 minutes today. The last game he had like 35 minutes. So
yeah.
I don't know what more we can do for Eddie. You know, and it's not because he's not trying. You know, it's not like he's not making the effort. That would be another conversation altogether.
Just not good enough.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you literally took the words right out of my mouth there, Tony, because that's exactly what I was about to say. And that, you know, maybe there's still time. You know, I'm interested to see what we'll be saying about him when it's 10 games, and that not just the league games, 10 games, no matter what competition.
Yeah.
You know,
Russ
that'll
said.
be a time to reflect and see how he's doing.
Russ said Brentford smashed United 4-0. Ten Hag has obviously gotten to work with these players, and he's put some of those players on the substitute bench. Harry Maguire, who's a walking disaster, has not played very much, and he felt comfortable enough to be able to bring him in the last 10, 15 minutes here. Ronaldo has
I actually
played,
tweeted out when I saw him bring Maguire on. I said, "We've still got a chance.
still got a
They
chance.
brought a
Goals,
Maguire."
yeah. Well, 2 goals in the last 10 minutes was asking a little bit much, but I was hoping Arsenal would do something, show something. Hendon Gunner said, "Good evening, all. We predicted this. No midfield of any substance and too naive in defence and prolific in front of goal." Begs the question a little bit about Sambi Lakonga. Does it, Tony? Am I being too harsh here? You,
Yep.
I have to
Yeah.
go back and look at the game, but to understand where those big gaping holes are in midfield, we got caught at the back.
There wasn't much distance between the back and the midfield. They're all pressed up there. I think Sambi had a good game the last time. I think it's a little too harsh to put too much pressure on him because he wasn't the one making the mistakes. It was the defenders. He said Zinchenko, Gabriel, just everybody.
And
Later is White, Saliba.
Haaland, Haaland's looking forward to the Liverpool game next month as well. After seeing that performance, you probably would feel hardened to face Arsenal. And we can't be that team that hands out gifts again. Anthony has gotten his debut goal from us. This has to stop. And Nketiah is not doing what he's getting paid 100,000 a week for. He is failing badly. We have to see a run of games. I miss Ozil in the Arsenal.
That's
No,
probably
we're
one of the
past.
worst. That's probably one of the worst comments I've ever seen in this chat box since I've been on this podcast. I'm sorry, Exhibit. I'm not digging you out and that, but I mean, look at what Mesut Ozil is doing right now in Turkey. It's exactly the same run of form and the same MO that he had at Arsenal. Can't get in the team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Keep saying that he's going to sit his contract out. He's just there for the money. What would Mesut Ozil bring this team now except misery? We've literally just getting all the fans back on side. He's the last thing that we need. So
Dan,
Hendon
I
Gunner,
Dan, is it
I
that
had to get
song?
that off my chest, man.
yeah, Hendon
No,
Gunner
no,
said,
it's good. You got it off your chest. Is it that song? What it isn't good for? Absolutely
Nothing.
nothing.
Hendon Gunner said, "Don't be harsh on Sambi. He was out of his depth. Should not be even starting." We gave Sambi
He played
praise
well.
on Thursday night. We gave Sambi praise for the Villa game. Thought he played with himself, played well in that game. But in this game, when things we got out of shape. The team got out of shape. Tried to reach a little bit too much, and I thought we were found wanting. This had shades of that Liverpool game for me away from home last season. You know why Arsenal lose? Maguire on the bench casts spell to the team. When he came in, he almost gave 2 penalties to Arsenal and a big free kick. Exactly, and there's always hope. Ozil, the worst signing in Arsenal history.
100%.
Really?
Yes, 100%. We've had players that may have had less skill than Ozil, but Ozil, the whole package and how it ended, the amount of money that we offered him and how he repaid us, the worst
Oh, okay.
signing we have ever, worst person to wear an Arsenal shirt, in my opinion.
Sorry,
Mercenary.
Stan. Maybe I was blinded by this light that's here above me.
Blinded by the light.
The heavenly Tony above
Steven
it.
said Sambi is not at this level. If he's in the squad, he needs to be at this level.
Did you have a bad game today then? Because as I say, I missed the first half. How was he?
I
I
don't think
would
he
You
had
were
that
say,
bad
right.
of
There
a
was a
game.
few
Because
patches of
he looked pretty good in the previous game, right? And he got a lot of
he played
praise
well
from the
against
fans.
He had a good, tidy first half, but I thought he got a little bit out of his depth in the second half. And it wasn't just him. There was Xhaka's in midfield. Erdegaard was there.
But is that down to instruction? Were they told to do something differently, like play higher? Or do you know what I mean? Or was there a difference in the second half to where they were positioning themselves or something? Could be down to instruction.
I'm gonna come back to the referee. If I think if the referee is not,
We were definitely pressed higher, Stan.
yeah, if the referee is not officiating and giving us some things, certain players in our squad try to do more than they need to. They didn't play within themselves. They try to do more, and I think the whole team gets out of shape when that happens. Look, he did not get sent off, but he should be in the Europa squad. Not his fault. Needs blending in. Yeah, and this is no party and no El Neni in there. Sambi played well in the circumstances. No party, no party. And Emil Smith Rowe injured again, but Emil Smith Rowe will come on later in the game. Are you missing Pepe? LOL. So no tall striker until summer. At least no tall striker at least until January. But unlikely we will sign anyone in January. We signed Ozil when he was coming to the end of his career. He was another panic buy by Wenger after we lost to Villa on the opening day of the 2012 season. Ozil bled this club for everything he could for nothing in return. And Ozil's gone a couple of years now, so. Anyway, into the second half, Tony. What were your thoughts in the start of the second half?
And like I said, we were pressed too high. They were giving us more of a ball, but we never looked composed, never looked like we were a threat.
I thought
we gave them a couple easy goals, and that's pretty much it.
Stan, did you see the second half?
Yeah, I mean, not knowing what had gone down and coming in and switching on the TV and seeing, oh fuck, we're 1-0 down. What's gonna happen now? And it was literally half time was already happening when I sort of joined the broadcast. Yeah. I thought we started the second half pretty well. I was watching how we were playing, and it was we were quite frenetic. We were moving the ball really quickly, and there were some chances that I remember, some really good team plays. There was one move where it was Gabriel done a back flick to back the heel out to back onto Zaka again, who'd started off the move, and Gabriel came in, and then there was an overlap, and there was some stuff going on, but we weren't able to put it away. So for me, from what I saw, I thought, oh, okay. Seeing that we were already 1-0 down, I was thinking we could still be in this game then. It doesn't look like we're 1-0 down and we're like really trailing behind. To me, it looked like that we were still in the fight when I was watching the beginning of the second half.
Delaney Brown, as long as you're respectful, we'll even keep a Manchester United fan in the chat box. Why the sad face is humbled? Listen, we're still, humbled. I hate to say, we're still top of the league, though. You know what I mean? Humbled.
Yeah. And nobody came into this saying we're going to thrash you, and nobody said anything of those sorts. So, yeah, be chill, homie.
We did feel confident that we would win as well.
So. I still think
we did feel confident, but nobody said smash.
I still think the best move of the transfer market was us gaslighting Man United for that Lisandro Martinez and making them like bleed 60 million on him. That was a good move.
Yeah.
I did chuckle at that.
You paid a lot more money, a lot more per inch, let's say, of height
Yeah, there's not a lot of acreage with that
You're
purchase.
paying by the inch. You got shafted. Let's just say that much. Arsenal's personal mistakes are ruining them. Football is about making other teams make mistakes, and yes, you profited off of our mistakes today, and we have been profiting off other people's mistakes. So Arsenal dominated for long swathes of the match, but no
Absolutely, Stefan.
instinct. Um, Guys, can I ask you not about the club, but the England national team? Uh,
Okay.
Sure, throw a question in, we'll take it. Sambi was not bad, but when he got out of shape, he struggled. Sambi is suffering from the club not getting a central offensive midfielder to take Party's place. Right now, he's suited to the Europa League where he can improve.
I
Listen, there's
mean,
going to be a few grounds where he's going to struggle, and this was one of them. There's going to be a few games where Stan and
it
then
just does.
Mahia.
It doesn't help that we've got Partey and El Neni both out at the same time. You know
Yeah,
that's unplanned, right? You know, in the first few games of the season, we've got the two people that can play in that one spot are both gone. Anyone else that goes in
Both.
there at the moment is either a bit of a
And
novice,
cover.
you know, like Sambi, or it's not their natural position anyway.
it's not just scratching your depth; it's gouging. It's gouging your depth away. If you've got three players in that can play in that position, and make things work, it's Partey, it's El Neni, and then it's Sambi. And unfortunately, Sambi was the one player you would say was not in the starting 11 that featured today. You know, do you guys think Southgate will pick Maguire and Shaw, despite both of them having game time and always on the bench? Is it going to affect England's national team huge? I think Maguire is English captain, or maybe Kane is English captain, but Maguire is one of the main ones. Maguire will definitely be picked. I think managers tend to stick with the players they trust, and I think Southgate trusts Maguire. What do you think?
Well, he made it into the last England team. And
Yeah,
before that, the last England match or whatever it is, I don't watch a lot of England games, but his form before that was terrible. So, some managers pick on form, don't they? They look around and say,
yeah,
well, I know, who's playing good at the moment that I could maybe bring into the team. But some managers like Southgate, they kind of they stay with like a blueprint of what they know.
yeah.
Jordan Pickford's another one. There's an argument that could be that, is he gonna keep his place? But he probably will. He
Yeah.
probably will because
I'm
in Southgate's eyes, he's got them. Those people have got him to semi-finals. So he probably still has a lot of faith in them.
yeah, possibly I'm underestimating FC Zurich. I think we should beat them, but we're good
Yeah.
enough in that we're good enough in that group to progress that we shouldn't be saying a month from now, well, the Europa League really upset our league games. It shouldn't be that case anymore.
Well,
We should be
we
I
should
hope
beat them
so.
if we put out a strong first 11. But if we put out 11 of our B team, as many of our B team in one team as possible, then it's not so secure for me because I think
Yeah.
a lot of the B team players, if that's what you want to call them, or second string, individually, when you have one or two have to come in to maybe back up, like a Rob Holding here or there. Do you know what I mean? And El Neni, for example, they do okay. There's not really a huge drop off, but when they're all in the team together, all of them, Eddie, Cedric, Holding, and they're all El Neni, and they're all in a team together, they're not good enough for me. They,
yeah.
you know,
We
you
we
can't.
can
I worry. I'm really
we can
worried about
carry
that
one or
team players.
two. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Steven said for me El Nani's not good enough for the Partey position. I think he is the okay, we might have ignored that position in recent years. We need new blood there. The management for the last 4 or 5 windows have ignored it, and we've almost like not improved our midfield just to keep Granit Xhaka in there. I hope Euro final will. That's what I think. Hope Euro final will be Arsenal versus Man U, revenge time. Will we ever see Zinchenko actually play in midfield? You know what I mean?
He will.
How is Pickford even England level now? Now I'm Irish. Now I'm Irish looking from outside. Yeah, Me, Irish too, as well. There's a couple of good Irish goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. There's no way that Maguire should be anywhere near the England squad. Top flight player. Has to play. Come on, you Gunners. Okay, second half. Stan, I thought, contrary to what Tony said, I thought we pushed quite well and we played quite well in the second half. And I said to myself, we got about 35 minutes here on the 55-minute mark. I was thinking we got about 35 minutes to get back into this game.
Yeah, and I thought we responded quite well. I mean, when the goal came, and it was a very good goal as well, I definitely thought, we definitely could get something out of this. But then, as some of you guys have alluded to a little bit earlier on, the high line, massive holes started forming. I mean, a couple of those goals for Man United, they just basically just ran into the ocean. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, three through balls. That's it.
Yeah, and it was just over. And it happened, and it's not like it happened the first time, and we then thought, okay, we need to rectify that. We've done it again. So again, I don't know whether this is instruction, because Mikel Arteta is very vocal from the sideline, telling people where they need to be and everything. Is that an instruction that he thought at that point of the game that every single player needed to be up there? I'm surprised Ramsdale wasn't on the edge of their penalty box as well, waiting to get a touch on the ball. So we don't know, right? It's easy to say, the players, what are they doing? But if they're being given that instruction, what are they supposed to do? If they don't follow the instructions, then he ain't going to pick them.
He's been keeping a high line all
Mikel
season,
Arteta
so
is a little bit like that. I'm not saying that it's a fault of Mikel Arteta's. I'm just saying, is this what happens when some of these mistakes happen because they get instructions, and maybe it's the wrong time for that piece of information?
This is another occasion for me where the actual occasion of the game, the intensity of the game, this was the media have been saying, Tony, this was like a game that Arsenal would traditionally not win, but we needed to win this game. The media played into this. Maybe it got into the players' heads that they needed to step forward. And I'm just asking the question here. Do you think that was the case where the players played outside of themselves? They didn't keep to the system that had gotten them to this point, winning 5 games. And every player, I think, tried to do a little bit more, another 20%. When you get picked off in possession, then you get transitioned on. We got transitioned on really quickly, Tony, by Fernandez and Eriksson, especially in midfield.
Well, it's pretty easy when you're playing that high of the line. We've been pressing high all season. Arteta never seems to have a plan B to switch up to see what's going on. You could see that they had acres of space. Gave up a second goal, no change at all. But yeah, the players were maybe trying too hard, but I think they're still doing what the manager tells them to do. Just the fact that we're playing a high line, somebody finally said, "Oh, look at all this space. Let's go for it." It's kind of like we did with Palace. Palace, second half, there comes out, starts having them launch long balls over Zinchenko and White to get closer to the goal. Instead of going through the middle, he just launched the ball deep. Just pass it over everybody and run into space and get the ball. That's what happened in that one. This one, we just kept pressing, wouldn't give it up. We paid for it.
Yeah, Russ said naivety, plain and simple naivety. Steven said it's like I said, we have the same weaknesses as City against counter-attacking teams. We're going to struggle badly against the Spuds. Or at least we're playing at home, and we do tend to be a different animal playing at home as well. If Partey was fit, maybe it would be different. Sammy gave it up too easy for the second, and Xhaka was also up the field and not able to cover. I think Stan, I'll go to Stan, then not here. I think at 1-1, and we'll talk about that Saka goal in a minute, but at 1-1, I think we're not clever enough to maybe stabilize the game a little bit more, realize we've got another 20 minutes or so to actually go and win the game. 25 minutes to go and win the game, and that comes with maturity. I think it comes with going through these type of results and understanding what can happen to you.
But we're also creating a lot of chances during those moments and not putting them away. And sometimes when you're creating chances, it saps energy out of you because that's when you're probably going at your most optimum during those moments, and then you're not putting it away. Tony said earlier, 16 shots, only 3 on target.
Mm-hmm.
Only 3 of those shots were on target. That's a terrible percentage or average, whatever you want to call it. It's just not good enough.
Yeah.
And this is what Gabriel was supposed to be brought in to do, right? He's supposed to sort that percentage, that average out.
Which one? Jesus?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, sorry, so many of them. Yeah, Jesus. He's that's and Eddie as well, right? And Eddie, because we had a similar problem last season, but we had Lacazette, and we could all see what the problem was. We were creating chances for a man that can't even get into the penalty box when the chances are happening. He's still strolling up from the centre circle. So we were supposed to have been rectifying this, and these players are getting into some good positions, but the finishing has to improve.
Yeah. Second half, second half, Saka goal. I thought there was a challenge on Saka, no penalty, 54-minute. Jesus crosses, it goes on to the crossbar. But then in the 60th minute, we do get that goal. And Xhaka releases Erdegaard. So we're talking about the Saka goal now, Garrett. The equalizer in the 60th minute. Xhaka releases Erdegaard. There's a great shimmy from Erdegaard. Shows what he can do. Left switch to the right foot. Through ball. And Jesus is going to create that kind of panic in the box, Maher. I knew he wasn't listening. I knew he wasn't.
Frozen. I think he's frozen.
Is he frozen?
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah.
Or he's nodded off.
Wake up! Wake up!
He's concentrating. Like Arsenal's back 4.
There he is.
Maher.
He's playing Candy Crush.
He's back. He's playing Tour of Duty. Are you playing Tour of Duty?
No. Tour of Duty.
Did you hear a word we said?
Look.
It's the axe. Why are you spraying axe?
Cutting out. The screen turned blank. I'm spraying axe because, as you guys saw, I was smoking a few cigarettes. So, yeah, that's strong.
Not attractive young ladies, then.
He's on the DL.
I've seen the commercials.
No,
you spray axe, man, and women come out of the woodwork.
Sorry, guys.
Getting caught in.
I'm not allowed to buy axe. My missus saw them adverts. My missus saw them adverts. I'm not allowed to buy axe anymore.
Stan, I'd have to apologize. I'd be like, sorry guys, as you can see, I have quite a lot of company and it's just myself, so don't mind, I just have to handle some business.
Alright, we'll go to
Everybody
Tony.
waiting in line by my door.
We'll go to Tony.
But like I was saying, guys, Ray,
Yeah.
I heard what you were saying. I heard what you were saying about the Saka, about the Saka potential penalty. It just all depends on the ref. If a ref feels that it's maybe just, like a body, like being bodied, and in a slight way, he's not going to give a foul and he's not going to give the penalty. Therefore. But what do I feel on it? Yeah, like I said, it just depends on the referee. I can't say yes or no whether I think it was a penalty because.
Tell me about.
I just don't feel that way. I'm not that type of character.
Tell me about the Saka goal, then, Maher.
That 1-2 touch passing. Are we back to being tiki taka? That whole passage of play was extraordinaire. It was beautiful. I had tears running down my eyes. Only one tear, but the whole passage of play was beautiful.
It was what we've been known for in the first 5 games this season. Scoring a goal like that, getting back into it.
It was almost like Anthony's goal, but the thing with the United goal, Gary and Tony, I'm sure you guys will agree with me when I say basically 3 through balls that split that whole defense into pieces.
Yeah.
And that's what made me so angry. Only through balls. You made Manchester, when you were United, the team I hate the most, look world class with 3 simple through balls from of all players, Ericsson. I told you, I had a 2-minute Tony, Gary, when you guys are able to see, go on my channel, right? And see the 2-minute preview that I posted, and I said, can our midfield keep up with their midfield? No. Can our attack? Possibly, yes. But can we hold them to some sort of, can we like not pocket them as per se, but can we keep them under control? And my answer was no. And that's exactly what happened.
Helen, thanks for stopping by, Helen. I gotta go. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, Gary, you're back.
Thank you, Helen.
Bukayo Saka scores his first goal of the season in the same game as he did last season. He scored against Tottenham last season in the 6th game, and he popped up today with the goal. But this was created by...
You told us that Thursday, Ray.
What?
Said you told us Thursday.
I told you Thursday, didn't I?
Yes.
Does that make me some kind of prophet?
No, you're just going off what happened last year.
Great feat from Erdegaard to play that ball through, Gary. And Jesus just creates that kind of panic in their box.
Yeah, he brought that the defender up, and it gave space for Saka, and he put the ball like he's supposed to, towards the goal. He shot it. I don't think he took an extra touch there. I think he just took it right, one touch there and scored.
There's a defender in the way, but basically it's an open goal, right?
Yeah, he gets it before the goal, before the defender can get to it. So yeah, that was really nice. And you know what? That was probably the easiest score he had at that point, or in that second half. And you would think, all right, we get that goal, we're gonna jump on them and continue to go at them and maybe get that second goal, because we've been playing like we could score goals in this game, and we did not do that. I mean, after we scored that goal, I was saying, I was thinking to myself, or I said, I can't remember. All right, I think because that's around the 60-minute mark, it'd be nice to get in some fresh legs to maybe put some, to one, either defend better or to put some pressure on their back line. So we were getting where we wanted to go in terms of their front line. We just weren't able to finish, and it'd been nice to put some fresh legs out there. And I think we just, I think once again, we just wait too long. We wait until, instead of us taking the initiative and going out there and changing the style of play or putting some fresh legs, we wait until we get punished. And we didn't, I think that's where Arteta needed to. He's got Tierney and he had Tierney and he had White. Sorry, he had Tomiyasu, right? He needed to get. If Tomiyasu's healthy, he should play in games where we need to be a little bit more controlled on that back line. All right, we're not going to get as much freedom going forward as we want because of we know the attack that's coming at us, especially with the fact that the whole thing was, well, will Anthony play? If he does, then they're going to have a little bit of a positive, game there. If Casemiro plays in the middle, they're going to have, an opportunity to control the midfield there as well. So we didn't, like I said, I don't think we took advantage of where our strengths were, which was our front three in this game, the way we should have. And then when it wasn't working, we didn't change it up. Especially after we score. After you score and get that goal, everybody should be on high alert. You know what? We cannot give up that next goal. We need to play within ourselves. And we just fell asleep, got tired. And unless we were playing a high line, I kind of felt like, you know what? Those are, put some fresh legs in there. Maybe we'll play. We would have been able to finish that thing off with at least a point. I think that's at that point you played so hard. You've got it drawn 1-1. Don't give it away because of which for me was more mental fatigue than it was anything else at that point. I mean, the way those goals were scored, you put some fresh legs in there. You put in a Holding, right? We talk about Holding coming in to close out games.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
you put in a Tomiyasu to close out games. He can play the last 30 minutes of a match. So I kind of felt like we kind of let ourselves down by not putting subs in, and we can't play this. We can't play the same 11 for 90 minutes and win games. I don't think that's how this thing works, right? I think at some
yeah.
point you're going to have to switch things up, and we've got players I believe that he trusts and has confidence in on the bench. So bring him in, and it shouldn't matter when. I don't think the three subs for offensive reasons is the reason why the defense looked so bad at that on that play. I don't know. Some
Yeah.
people might, but I kind of feel like they did that twice back-to-back times, and never did Arteta think he needed to make a change on the defensive side.
Problem is the tactics never changed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you finally worked that hard to get the draw. You need to protect it to some degree, which means you're not gonna, like you said, put yourself at risk on the counter.
This comment is the crux of it. We played way better. Odegaard had plenty of opportunities to shoot as well. Not so much the second part of it, but we did play way better. But it doesn't look like it from the scoreline.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should have won this game based on our performance, but we need the control of the game. We need to control what happens in the game and not lose. We've lost to 2 goals that we should have prevented if we were controlled and if we were at it today. Well, and we didn't do that.
Who do you think is at fault for the last 2 goals? This is probably
Arteta.
to everybody.
Midfield.
You think the midfield is the reason why the back line looks so wide open?
Yes. There's no pressure on the ball in midfield for me.
Right.
Tony agrees. You agree, Tony, or disagree?
No, I blame it on Arteta.
He wasn't on the field.
He has to be blamed. He didn't say he had to be a fucking player.
No, when the goals happen, Arteta can't stop goals going in.
So we kept on pressing with a high line.
No, listen, I asked for man in the match 2 weeks ago. You give me a coach for man in the match. Who's on? Give me somebody on the field. Gary's asked a legitimate question. Who do you blame for those 2 goals? You can't pick a coach or a manager. Sorry.
It's their instructions. I can say it's their instructions.
No. When who's at fault of the 10 players outfield? Who's at fault for those 2 goals? Not going to get an answer, am I?
It's Standy. You saw the second half, the 2 goals.
Yeah. Well, it's just a massive hole at the back. You mean, why are you not leaving anyone back for cover? I mean, I get what Ray's saying, that, from the midfield, sometimes you can prevent it by getting on the ball. But just to cover your ass, there seem to be everybody's up the field. Everyone? You're not leaving anyone back? So, I don't know whether it's the instructions that they're getting in that moment and they're responding to it, or whether they're not responding to instructions and they're going off script a little
Can't
bit.
help.
Yeah.
And I think that happens through the officiating. Very subtly, it happens.
That you can't blame the two goals on the officiating of the game.
I'm not essentially saying that.
You just brought up the officials, just like you told
Tony.
You can't bring up the coaching, but you can bring up the officials.
Here's
How does
what
that
I'm
work?
saying.
Stan didn't name a player either.
If you know the referee is not in your favor, and if you know you're not getting the calls that the other players are getting, Gabriel Jesus was manhandled 3 or 4 times in the whole game. Each and every one of our players tried to do a little bit more and try to play beyond themselves.
Jesus is always diving in.
I asked the question about the back, how we got beat so bad on the back line. Everybody's giving me the coach, the officials.
Gave you an answer.
And Stan, to some degree, it sounds like defensively we were just not set up correctly somehow. So either it's the coach there, or it's which center back was not further back than he needed to be at that point. Because it's got to be somebody in the middle of the pitch. It can't be your fullbacks at that point. Because we saw. Think about it. We saw this in the Crystal Palace game, right? We saw the problem is that it was further up the pitch. It was closer to our goal, kind of midway through our half, and Saliba was there to clean up the mess when Zaha got the ball out there and get the ball out. This time, higher up the pitch, right midfield, too much space. Rashford had tons. He got a running start. The man got in the blocks and whistle, and the gun went off, and he just took off. We were standing flat-footed. We couldn't catch up to him.
Yeah,
twice.
And this may usher in a different way of approaching these kind of games. If we're going to play against pace, we can't leave a high line behind pace. Haaland, if we play Haaland, we're going to get crucified in the same manner against Manchester City. Presto Play said if the first goal was scored, it would have been different. McTominay was playing WWE.
The man did. Hey, come on, Stan. Can you give me a call of McTominay's takedown of Jesus?
Fucking half, yeah.
I don't think I saw that.
What?
I don't think I must have not been at the TV. You know what I mean? I must have not been at the TV. I don't think I remember seeing that. When did that happen?
In the 70th minute, McTominay yellow card on Jesus. He would not let him. You know the way Jesus can physically roll a player.
He picked him up and then threw him over.
I remember seeing him getting the booking and that. I think I must have just come back into the room, but I didn't see the offense. Was it a bad one?
It was a really good wrestling move. Let's just say that.
Between their second goal and their third goal, we really lost the plot because Ramsdale makes that rash decision to play a ball straight to Fernandes. Fernandes nearly scores. McTominay has that yellow card on Gabriel Jesus. Manhandles him. That's a professional foul right there. Not going to let him get.
That's a professional foul to grab somebody and throw them over your shoulder.
That's dark. That's the dark.
Professional wrestling.
Dark arts.
You know you're getting the yellow card.
Professional wrestling move.
Dark arts would have been he came in really strong and took him out.
Do you think that's the red card, Gary?
Like wrestling? Come on.
Do you think that's a red card?
You think it's red? No, he should have had a yellow earlier in the game.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the problem is that by that time game's over, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're making. He made what they called like 2 yellows in the second half on McTominay and Maguire. If they were calling the game consistent, they would have had yellows in that first half.
Yep, I agree. Steven said the mark of a good manager is knowing when to change things up. At 1-1, he did nothing to solidify the defense, which is what was needed to ensure at least a draw. Arteta showed his tactical liability. I think that's something the manager and the team must take from this game. When you get into a position where
I don't think you can blame a manager,
What?
You just said we can't blame a manager.
Gary asked you who was to blame for the second.
And I said Arteta.
Yeah, and I'm talking generally about the next game and how we approach the next game. I'm not talking about how the game went today. I'm talking about how to approach the game. What should we take from this game, Tony? You tell us. What should the team and the manager?
You should have a fucking plan B. Yay.
Is that it? That's really generic. That's really broad.
That's what they should do.
Our next 4 games, we don't have to deal with a Rashford or an Anthony. We don't have to deal with that. No matter what, any of those 4 games, I don't believe we're playing at somebody. We're just going to be able to run at us like that.
The next 4 games.
I think the one thing that Stan did say is that our second 11 players is scary. If we take out probably 5 or 6 players from our starting 11 and play, we're going to see a dip in form, a dip in performance, and then because I don't think they've played enough games to go into this Zerks game to be able to play the way Arteta wants, and I don't think Arteta is going to put them in a position to succeed.
Well, if you look at our depth, there's no way he's going to make that many changes.
Yeah, but he's going to have to. I mean, at some point, you can't play Saliba and Gabriel every game. They're going to have to.
Timo Tagus
You're gonna get White.
Timo Tagus stand for McTominay. Varane made 4 fouls, no yellows. Martinez should have been booked in the first minute. Exactly. Yep. That tackle on Gabriel Jesus.
And supposedly because it's early in the game, they don't call. Right? Exactly. It's a foul. It requires a yellow. It's a yellow.
And
You set down your roots and how you're going to call the game
yeah,
by how you start in the first
exactly.
minute,
You
and
set a
then
marker.
you know.
You set a marker
You're
down. You
never,
tell the players.
you're never gonna
This,
see one in the first minute. Come
Well,
on.
that's the problem with the way that these every sport does it. Because it's early in the game, it doesn't matter, but it does because later in the game they call another foul, and you don't
Stefan,
get the
thanks.
benefit of the earlier one, so they get the extra
Presto
fouls.
plays. Presto's play said on the bright side we are still top of the league. Um, thanks and
It'd
no
be nice
snow.
to get a draw though.
Yeah, it would be nice to get a draw. Exactly. The other question is, our goal is still top four, right, Gary?
Yes, we have to. Well, that's yeah, yes, yes.
Um,
The only way this team progresses top four, and we're playing for a trophy.
and when Tony hosted one of these podcasts, he asked, "Are we contenders or pretenders?" I believe everyone is pretenders, and Manchester City are the only contenders for the Premier League, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, but I said for the top three for us. Top
Yeah, I
three.
mean,
So,
top four has got to be the blueprint for us. Varane also fouled Gabriel Jesus. So you take Gabriel Jesus in isolation. There was a number of incidents where there should have been yellow cards on only the challenges from Gabriel Jesus. Varane should have got one. Martinez should have gotten one, and McTominay did get one late on. Um, don't go gung ho. I understand the rivalry, but it's still early in the season. We also need Partey back. Gary, what should we take from this defeat going forward? What should the team learn?
I mean, I think these are the same things we've been learning in these types of games where we come in and there's a lot of pressure on us to get something out of it, and either the tactics are wrong, the players are are left on too long. Everything, something we need to do something different in these type of games. We can't look back at it every time and go, "Come on!" At some point, can we switch this thing up again? Like Tony said, Plan B, and Plan B, could be just bring in somebody else at least earlier in the match so that we can actually change things in our favor, right? Especially when you come back from all of this that we've gone through, you get a 1-1 draw with like 30 minutes to go. Let's hold on to this thing. We did not do that.
Yeah,
We did not do that. So that's some of the things we got to learn. I mean, it's the same things we've learned in every other game that looks exactly like this, where we continue to say we played really well. We definitely deserved more out of it, and we didn't get it. So yeah, so rinse and repeat for me in terms of what we've learned. It's the same stuff we keep saying over and over again.
is this similar to that Liverpool game away from home last season?
In a City game, same things, right?
In the City, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
City.
yeah. I mean, you put away your chances. Game's totally different. And yes, they took one away from us, but we still should have gotten a goal in that first half.
And traditionally, it goes. We haven't broken the mold. Let's say traditionally they beat us up there, and traditionally we beat them
Yeah,
at
but
the Emirates.
that's the mindset I don't like. That mindset that okay, well we're playing there, so we're probably going to lose, and it got to change. It
Exactly,
has to change if we're talking about moving forward and being top four,
and
right?
beyond.
We keep saying that we need to be able to go into the top six, games and get more points than we lose. All right.
Hmm.
At some point, we have to do that, and this is a good year to do that. We see Liverpool is struggling, right? We'll find out
Chelsea
in the next.
struggling.
Right.
Yeah,
United was
look,
struggling, and we
we're
kind of
fine.
we made United look really good today. Can they do this against other teams? Probably not, because guess what? Those
Well,
teams do.
it'll be Liverpool.
They are pretty solid on the back line, right? The last two matches they played who? Fulham and Southampton, and they held them to one goal in each game. Are we that?
They beat Leicester and they beat Southampton.
Yeah, two teams that are they that? Are we that worse? I don't think so.
No,
It's,
So
it's
and
instructions, Gary. We have a good back four. We
they
just
beat
press
Liverpool as
them.
well. They beat Liverpool as well. The lessons were there for us to learn. We
yeah,
didn't learn those lessons. And a quick word: if who wants to play Kahoot today, just let me know in the chat box if you're down for a game of Kahoot. Take our mind off this defeat. Um, the triple substitution. Mahir, what did you think about the 3 subs coming on? I sort of guessed on 2. I got 2
Huh?
out of 3 right. I knew that Emil Smith Rowe would be coming on for Erdegaard. We knew maybe Vieira would be coming on for Lakonga. And I had picked Bukayo Saka as well for Nketiah to come on, but it turned out to be Zinchenko instead of Saka. But for me, those 2 of those players were borderline to start anyway. Erdegaard and Zinchenko had some late fitness checks, Gary.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the subs. I just would have liked them sooner. All right,
Did you not think that 3 substitutes all at one time would upset the?
No, because
balance?
they were just done too late. We needed to get them into a game where you can give them more than the 15 minutes that they had. I think we needed to get subs in around 60 minutes so that these guys could get into the game a little bit more. And you saw how Vieira actually was able to get some shots off that we weren't getting like that. You know, he came in with some fresh legs.
Yeah.
And that's why you bring him in a little bit sooner than that. I think we waited too long to make those subs, and I'm I'm tired of this. We can't bring him in because the game is really tight. You know, at some point you got to bring these players in sooner than later because all you're doing is helping out the other team. All right, because now the reason why you're bringing them in, I believe, is because they were getting tired. I mean, I would have liked the Tomiyasu move to come in. I think that would have been pretty good at that point. I like White. White to me is no different than El Neni in terms of he's good for a couple of games, but I don't want to see him have to play 3 and 4 games in a row at that position. That's not his preferred position. He can do it, but we've got a player that can play right back. If he's healthy enough to start, then we play him. I'm just going to go with the fact that I don't think he's healthy to start, and that's why he had to come off the bench. But
Tomiyasu.
Yeah, but at some point he needs to come in the game and He can give a whole half. You know, they score the goal, you bring him in. That's 30 minutes, and then you've got a better back line at that point. Let it go down the left side. I don't care at that point. You're holding on to this one draw at that point.
I'll put the Kahoot pin up a second. 931-910. This is about the Arsenal and Manchester United rivalry. So if you want to get involved, get in the Kahoot waiting room. Tony, what are you drinking? Says Stephen.
Dr. Pepper Zero Cream Soda.
Because this is the kind of thing we talk about when we're suffering after a loss.
We talk about what I'm drinking all the time. Come on.
Russ said we may have a chance.
And us coconut water.
We may have a chance at Kahoot as Mr. Tom is missing in action. I was disappointed in the way we did not press hard at the beginning of the match. They led Man United into the match easily early on and gave them the confidence they needed to push on. Yeah, we did not start the game on the front foot, in my opinion. Why aren't we taking the chances we create? Brentford put 4 past United just a couple of weeks ago. You know, Ten Hag has had some time again to work with them and get them better. He's actually taken some liabilities off the pitch as well. Right, Gary, you mentioned Ben White and Tomiyasu.
Mm-hmm.
My belief was that Arteta prefers Ben White over Tomiyasu. That's
not if you're talking defense, because like I said, we've seen it now 2 games in a row now. Not 2 games in a row, but we've seen it twice, 2 games where towards the end of the game, they're just going to attack down our right defensive side because White is going to get beat. Saw it 2 games. We've seen it 2 games with players that can put pressure on us in the back line. And we'll continue to see that because White, I don't think he can hold up for 90 minutes. That is the difference between White and Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is defensively more sound. And at some point, we're going to have to be defensively more sound. And Tomiyasu, if he's healthy, plays. Same thing with Tierney versus Zinchenko. We're talking about defense. You go with your stronger fullbacks for defensive purposes. All right?
Yeah.
You got to keep the game. You got to keep the games close and counter if you can. Yeah. So no, I get it. Like I said, I don't think White is a fullback, a full-time fullback.
Yeah, There's the pen. Steven is in there waiting for opponents. So we've got one. We got one in the door. Steven's in there. Go join Steven. He wants some competition, right? So Tony, what's I know it looks like you're joining as well, Tony. But what's your thoughts on that? I mean, Tomiyasu is your defender that you probably want as your fullback, but Arteta seems to persist with Ben White.
I I'm like Gary. I don't think he was fully fit yet, but I think he will start Thursday.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who starts on the other side. If that's gonna be Tyranny or Zinchenko, that one's gonna be an interesting one. But
Right.
I think it's more of what White's being asked to do. He's been further up the pitch. He's not quite the defender that Tomiyasu is, but it's where he's at on the pitch. It's hard to defend when you're up there. That's why you've seen
Good on.
Saka dropping back so much. You see Saka coming back, filling that role, doing the right back a lot. It's
And if
just
we're talking
the way
about players putting other players out of position, it looks like that. If Saka and Xhaka have to come back and support, that's no different than what Gabriel did in that first goal.
yeah, but
But
it's being what they're asked to do because we see it over and over again. It's the manager's fault. It's not their fault.
Steven said White was not good today, and Jacko was way too sloppy. White needs to be put back in the centre back rotation. Yeah, I think it's time for Tomiyasu to come back in.
Well, we'll see it Thursday. It'd be White and Holding, which I won't like, especially if we see Cedric there. Hopefully, Tomiyasu plays at right back Thursday.
Well, one thing I did like about the performance today was Saliba. He got himself on a yellow card in the 24th minute, but had the discipline, let's say, to not get carded again and be sent off. And I thought he had a very good game after that. With taking into account losing 2 goals as well. I know it seems like a contradiction, but I think we should get into any other comments on the game, Gary. I mean, I wanted to come into this game with a win and talk about referees officiating from the north of England and the favoritism that seems to be endemic in the game. And there's no referees but one in the whole city of London, as big as London
It
is.
doesn't matter. They're inconsistent, right? VAR is inconsistent. It doesn't matter who the fuck they put out there. They're inconsistent.
So you think it's more a case VAR is inconsistent rather than there's a bias?
The entire officiating process
Is
poor.
inconsistent.
So it doesn't really matter what we do until they, like you said, either bring in a little bit, referees from. There's got to be other referees in England, in the world they can bring in. Until they do that, we're going to see this, and it's and like I said, I keep saying it until the teams the teams don't care enough right now.
That's why I wish Tom was here so we could ask him if the refereeing's that bad in the championship or the lower leagues.
Yeah.
There's got to be more consistency going on somewhere.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's an inconsistency or do you think it's a bias?
They're poor for everybody. I don't think you can find one team that will go, you know what, the officiating was pretty good today. Everybody gets punished at one point in the season. A call doesn't go their way, and you can look at it and go, that was a mistake there. So
Okay.
I think the entire system has failed.
Wow.
They don't want to fix it, and we're just seeing it's messing up a really good league, because that's all we're talking about every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's gotten even. You keep seeing new problems, right? This week seems to be the week of we're going to take away a goal because of a foul that last week or the week before wasn't being called. And I don't believe. I don't believe VAR was intended to go in there and correct a mistake after 4 or 5 touches of the ball like that. And you know what? The handball thing, it's the same thing to me. If it's handball, call it early. Why does it? Because you can have a handball, the ball goes out, comes back in, score. Oh wait, nope, there's a handball. If you missed it, you missed it. You know.
Such a pity. A great goal from Martinelli. I thought early doors before the game started that Martinelli would have a big
Mm,
effect on this game, and he did. It
yeah.
just was for us unjustly chalked off.
Yeah.
Kahoot, if you want to play the Kahoot game, use that passcode there 931-910. Stephen is in there all alone. Hang tight, Stephen. Maybe we'll get a few people to play the game as well.
If you're gonna be a little while, I'll be right back. I need to get something for my food here. I decided to, and you asked me if I should get something to eat, and I was like, yes, but then I said no, but I had to step away to get
Now
food.
you're
So
thinking about it, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Stephen said White was not good today, and Jacko was way too sloppy. Yeah, read that one
yeah,
already.
yeah.
George Graham's teams and Mourinho teams sat it out and picked off the opportunity given to them on away days.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they should have done too. Um, I'm getting a little worried about Gabriel. He's been making some rash defensive decisions that are putting us under pressure and costing us, like today. And I think games like this, where it's elevated and your mistakes are highlighted more and punished more, um, are costly for a player like Gabriel Magalhaes.
But we drew the game after his mistake.
Yeah.
So we didn't at that point. We weren't going to lose if we just played the way we can play.
But we could have been leading without his mistake. Then
could have been leading if the officials called it multiple ways, and we knew that. So, but I mean, we did come back and get into it, right?
Gunnar Glenn, if you want to join Stephen in the Kahoot game, get in there. Stephen's asking, should he buy drinks in the lounge? He's waiting in the Kahoot lounge. Like that, Stephen. We were the better team. We just got caught in 2 counterattacks. United are still crap. And that's the problem. The narrative may be...
They're not crap, though. He's got them wrangled in now.
Where do you see them finishing, Tony?
Way they've been playing lately.
Oh no! Right now, you're going to make a decision. I'm going to hold you to it.
You can't do that because you're not going to do that.
It's like a prediction.
You do it too, then. Well, if you're going to call out, yeah, I'm his attorney. If you're going to call him out, I want you to do the same.
7th. United finished 7th.
There you
Tony,
go.
They're to get a Europa spot at least.
That's higher than 7.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is going to be interesting.
I say 6. I'll say 6.
Yeah. I think they have I think we've always said they have good talent on the squad. They just don't have the right man leading them. And they have the right man leading them. Everybody thinks.
Nort's nemesis, the Northern there, and so listen. Grab the Kahoot. Gunnar Glenn, if you want to play, download the Kahoot app. 6th place. I think they'll finish 7. I think there's 6 better teams than them. Europa League win and out of top 4. Let me put the Kahoot back in there. Mahir, what do you say, Mahir?
For Manure United, I would go with your guys' one. 7.
7.
Hate those guys.
England's chance in the World Cup with and without Maguire. I think they're good enough to get to the semi-finals at least. Should I, Stephen, buy a drink for a Northern? He's left again. Jeez. Okay. Whoever was in there before, go join Stephen. Maybe we don't do Kahoot today. Lack of interest. The whole officiating setup needs to be thrown out and rebuilt with new officials. They're making way too many poor decisions, and the league should be embarrassed by the incompetency. Gunnar almost lost 5-1. What matters? It's the result.
Sheesh. That would have been bloody embarrassing.
Should I put on a free bar in Kahoot's Lounge to bring people in? Yes, definitely. Big Gabby was very aggressive, and I think he got carried away. He shouldn't have been so high up the pitch.
Everybody was. You can't just pick out one player when the whole fucking. Do we have a high line? Right.
Yeah, we had a high line. If Arsenal sign a good defensive midfielder and a good tall striker, top four isn't unreachable. No, top four is the target, and I feel like
That should be top two if you sign those two. It should
I
be
feel like
two or three anyway.
we have a good gap to Liverpool. We have a good gap to a lot of Liverpool and maybe Chelsea are our two rivals. I would say for top three, and I think as long as we maintain
You're
that
still
gap,
putting Chelsea in there?
I'm putting
You're
Chelsea in there. I think Chelsea are better than Tottenham, but I don't know. I think they're very evenly matched, Tottenham and Chelsea.
Yeah, but I keep getting those 1-0 wins, and
Yeah, Tottenham won.
I think Man U's better than Chelsea.
Okay, more of these nemesis. We're going to go with a 2-game. Are you playing, Tony? You getting in there?
Who do you think
Or not?
Morty's nemesis is?
Is that you? Okay, you're Morty's nemesis. Not anyone else playing? Get in. There's the 931 910. We're going to play the Kahoot game. Rahul is here, your new face. Hopefully you like and subscribe, Rahul. Would appreciate it. Download
Ray,
the Kahoot
Tony,
app.
and 3 dots.
What?
Said Ray, Tony, and 3 dots. Or 3 circles. But
Yeah. All right, we're going to play with 2. Morty's nemesis is going to take on Stephen O'Toole. Use the passcode for Kahoot 931 910. We're going to play in 1 minute. We'll come back. We will do man in a match for us. And that's it. We'll preview the Zurich game and then get out of here. So here we go. I'm going to take off the banners. I'm going to play this game. Get ready. Morty and Steven, get ready to do duel. Here we go. All right, we got a few more. We got 4 people in there. I'm going to give anyone 10 seconds to play. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to play. We're not going to get more than 4 people today, Tony. Who doesn't get on the podium today? Here we go. We're going to start. Gary's in. Arsenal versus Man United rivalry. We don't like United. Press to play. Kahoot.
nobody does, Ray.
931 910. You have to download it on the app. In 1997, which England player would add to Anelka and Vieira's goals to beat United 3-2? In 1997, Arsenal beat United 3-2. Which England player would add to the Anelka and Vieira goals to beat United? Tony Adams, David Platt, Lee Dixon, or Paul Merson? It was a headed goal to win 3-2 in the 9 minutes. 1 correct answer, David Platt. 2 incorrect answers of Paul Merson. So Gunnar Glenn is off to a good start. We have 5 people in. That's good. Next one up. And there's 12 questions, so plenty of chance to get back. Who scored the first goal in last season's fixture at Old Trafford? The first goal in the corresponding fixture last season. Lacazette, Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, or Odegaard? Who scored the first goal for Arsenal?
There's no way you can shorten the time on the questions.
Oh, well, I like to give some people time. I could go 20 seconds, but I usually go 30 seconds. Nobody got the correct answer was Emile Smith-Rowe. He scored the first goal. Everyone else, that's strange. That's never happened before. Everyone picked the wrong answers there. So Emile Smith-Rowe scored the first goal. Right, number 3 out of 12. Who scored the opening goal in last season's game at home to Manchester United? Who scored the opening goal in last season's game at home to Manchester United? Martinelli, Xhaka, Tomiyasu, or Tavares?
I'm just guessing here.
Though you remember last season's game when we beat Manchester United 3-1?
We were
Only
speeding, but
By the way, I really hate Bruno Fernandes, the way he protested to the referee. Um, correct answer was Tavares, who's tearing it up for Marseille right now as a wingback. Tony, as a wingback. Gary
that's
got it right.
what he is.
Gunnar Glenn got it right. Tony, what are you're not getting these right, Tony? In 1989 season, who scored both goals in a 1-1 draw? In the 1989 season, who scored both goals in a 1-1 draw? Alan Smith, Tony Adams, Michael Thomas, or Brian Marwood? Presto play. Get in the next Kahoot when we do it next week. Two correct answers. Tony Adams, he scored a header, and then he scored an own goal. Gary, all right. Gary's in the lead now. Gunnar Glenn second, Morty third. Did you guess that, Gary? Who scored the winning goal at Old Trafford on the way to winning the title in 1998? 1998. Who scored the winning goal at Old Trafford on the way to winning the title? Anelka, Overmars, Petit, or Keown? And we won 12 games. We won our last 12 games of that season to beat Manchester United to the title. With, what was the name of the goalkeeper? The young goalkeeper. I forget his name now. Overmars was the correct answer. Keown was not the correct answer. Gunnar Glenn and Gary's in a two-way fight. Morty and Stephen O'Toole is third and fourth. North's nemesis. Hopefully you're still playing. What year did Arsenal win the title at Old Trafford? What year did Arsenal win the title at Old Trafford? 2002, 2004, 1998, 1991. Yeah, from Austria. Manninger. Alex Manninger. Stephen, thank you. Manninger. What year did Arsenal win the title at Old Trafford? Silva and Wiltord scoring the goal. One correct answer, 2002. Two incorrect answers for 2004. Gunnar Glenn stretching away a little bit, but not insurmountable, Gary. Which Man United player missed an injury time penalty in Arsenal's invincible season, 2003-2004? Which Man United player missed an injury time penalty? Rooney, Ronaldo, Van Nistelrooy, or Scholes? BX Gunner's here in the chat section. Welcome, BX Gunner. The correct answer was Van Nistelrooy, and we're going to be facing him in the Europa League pretty soon. Gunnar Glenn has the highest streak of 3 in a row. Gary's right there, 500 points behind. Stephen and Morty's nemesis. Come on, Morty. Do better. Who has played for Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Arsenal? Which player has played for Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Arsenal in their career? Patrick Vieira, Robin Van Persie,
I picked the wrong thing. Oh,
or Mikel Silvestre.
Okay.
Who's played for Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Arsenal? Any ideas? My hair is gone. Stan's still here, though. One correct answer, Mikel Silvestre. He's played for Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Arsenal. Morty's nemesis got that one right. Up in the third place. Stephen, get third place. Still remains the only game where both teams were deducted points. Who scored the winning goal in the 1990 game between Manchester United and Arsenal. 1990. And both teams were deducted points. Anders Limpar, Paul Merson, Michael Thomas, or Steve Bold. Presto plays the Judas Van Nistelrooy. Anders Limpar, Paul Merson, Michael Thomas, or Steve Bold. Harry Maguire is always the answer, Tony Collins. Anders Limpar is the correct answer. That was Gary back in the lead. Gunnar Glenn second. This is going to be
Way to guess, Gary. Way to guess.
a good fight for first place and a good fight for third place going on here. How many's left? Couple? Three questions left. Who would score the winning goal in the FA Cup 2005 penalty shootout? Who would score the winning goal? Vieira, Perez, Bergkamp, or Henry? This Manchester United rivalry is one of the things that has been going on throughout my life.
Just not so much for the last 15 years.
Just a little bit. Two correct answers for Patrick Vieira.
That was my first guess.
Gunnar Glenn back
said
in the
nah.
lead over Gary. He maybe guessed quicker than you did.
No, I was going to guess that, and I said, nah.
You missed
Went a
it.
different direction. Yeah, went a different direction.
I guessed
All right, two left.
First.
Who scored in Arsenal's last win at Old Trafford in 2020? Pepe, Laka, Saka, or Oba? Who scored in Arsenal's last win at Old Trafford 2 years ago?
God, I hear this fucking Kahoot music.
I never noticed it before.
What's that?
I said I've never noticed that music before.
I always keep it a little bit lower. Two correct answers. Aubameyang, the penalty. All right, this is very, very close. Gunnar Glenn has the lead over Gary. The last question will determine who wins this. Morty, you're in third place. Stephen in fourth place. Thanks for participating, Stephen. The brawl of 2004 became known as Chicken Wing Gate, Celery Gate, Pizza Gate, or Beer Gate.
God, everybody knows this one, right? Come on.
Kebab Gate.
I hope I get it right.
Kebab Gate. Celery
How about-
Gate. Come on.
I hope I was ahead of.
Glenn had a lead. 4 correct answers. Pizzagate. Depends on your speed now, how quickly you answered it. Here's the podium. Third place is Morty.
Me.
Second place, Gunnar Glenn.
Gary hit it first. Way to guess, Gary, on the other ones.
Gary got for 6 out of 12. Gunnar Glenn actually answered 8 out of 12 correctly, but I think it's down to speed as much as anything else as well. Gunnar Glenn.
I always guess fast.
You got to be right and you got to be fast. Those are the two
It's all down
important.
to the quality of your speed.
The two important. Quality of your internet connection always helps. So, listen.
And
Next thing is Stan.
Yes, sir.
Who are you going to give your nomination of the Don Juan Man in the Match?
Difficult for me, right? Because I didn't really see the game as a
Right.
whole.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Really
Yeah.
difficult for me. But I mean, Saka looked good for his goal. The industry there. Said like Martinelli got one, but it was chalked off. So I'll see where you guys go. The manager.
Yeah, a coach.
I do what Tony does.
A coach of a given name.
Yeah,
Tony.
I'll give it to the Dutch bloke. The second one.
Let's go to Gary because Tony's actually going to tell us we're all wrong.
Yeah, this is as poorly as we look like from the score line. It's hard to give it to anybody in the back line or in goal. Midfield quiet. one of the front three. I kind of feel like even though he didn't score, Jesus is still keeping it. I think he's keeping it together for us up there. He may not seem like he's uh, doing as much, but I think his presence there has been pretty good. So
Yeah,
I think yes, I think him being in the middle there is what gave Saka the space and time to get the goal there. So I'm gonna go with Jesus.
yeah.
It could be Jesus or Saka for me. So
And how bad would this game have looked with Lacazette playing in Jesus' place? It would have been
yeah,
a much worse game. I think I'll have to echo what you said. Jesus, Marinelli, very unlucky
mm.
not to have that goal go his way. So, yeah, Jesus for us. Like that, Bukayo Saka had Malacia on toast a couple of times. So his game has always been there. It just hasn't shown up in goals. Flop of the game would be Big Gabby, number 6. And Jesus is man of the match. Tony, what have you got? I think 3 of us go for Gabriel Jesus.
I didn't really pick one, so
That's it then. It's Gabriel Jesus. Democracy rules. Stan,
for once,
Yep.
for once.
I didn't
Um,
use my authority this time.
Tony has decreed it's okay for us to nominate a man in a match. Okay, Stan, next couple of games is Zurich and Everton. What do you want? Let me know what you want to see Thursday
Well,
night.
I want to see how we come back from a loss. We're going to be kicking off now in the Europa League, which is going to be a big competition for us this year.
Yeah,
Big prize at the end of it. Not only getting in the Champions League, but getting another European Cup. So interesting to see if there's going to be any kind of rotation and who he puts out for this game. Are we away at this game or at home?
I believe it's away from home.
It's away. Yeah.
Okay. Be interesting to see then who we put out and who Arteta thinks is the right people for this to open up our European campaign.
Well, yeah, we can talk about it pretty briefly. Then we'll name a team maybe. Gary, what's your thoughts? For me, Everton's more important than Zurich, but I think Thursday night will take care of itself.
No, no, no. The next time you come out, you need to come out. Whoever plays needs to come out and play.
Next game,
Yeah. We can't like push off this game. We keep doing that, and then we go back and go. You know what? Well, this is how these bad streaks occur, right? You kind of look to the next game, look to the game after the next one. Now, next time we come out there will be some starters out there. This game should be a little bit more manageable for us. We need to come out there and play. Like the scary part is who's going to sit out this game, but I think Vieira needs to play. Of course, Nketiah is going to play.
mhm.
So that right there, I think, gives us. I believe if Vieira, the little bits that I saw today, if he gets more comfortable out there on the pitch with some of these players, that should be nice to see. And Nketiah needs to score. He can't keep going out there and coming back with zeros. Goal or assist, something. He needs to show us something. And these are what this is what he's supposed to be for. He's supposed to come into these games. Jesus probably will. I don't know. Will he travel? If he travels, we don't want to have to bring him on because we haven't
No,
scored a goal. You know what I mean? So Nketiah has to have a really good game. He needs to put up like numbers like he's done, like when he plays in like in the European in the cup games, right? He scored whatever number of goals in the cup games. He needs to treat it the same way. Come out there. It's all you. You're gonna start. Vieira's going to be there, probably giving you some nice passes. Put him away, all
yeah.
right? And Emil Smith-Rowe, did I hear he's injured now?
No.
He's not injured. Okay,
He
I
was. I thought
He
he
was.
was.
Emil Smith Rowe.
yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
came
thought
on in this game.
I thought he was injured, like he may have got injured again or something like that. So, but Nketiah has got to be key for me. He needs to show up. We need to know that what when we take out Jesus, we still have scoring out there. Jesus hasn't got all the goals we expect, but Nketiah has to. He has to, he wants the 14. He wants the money. He wants the minutes. He's going to get all of that in this next match. Everton match, they're 16th in the table. I don't care who we put out. We still need to get 3 points on that one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now we have to just learn from this one. No, no freebies, no, giving away opportunities.
Uh-uh.
Arteta said it. Our defense and our front line were poor today. Didn't say our midfield. Didn't say, and to some degree, didn't say our goalkeeper. He said basically our defensive line, that four at the back, and the front three. They didn't play well today. They didn't finish well, and they gave up some really, really, really bad opportunities to the other team. So they need to come out and play. Whoever comes out and plays in those positions needs to show that I can come in and help you. This is how you build your squad, right? At some point, we're going to go. Can Vieira come in and do a job for us? Well, he's going to play Zurich. I expect to see him. We're expecting this. He was the what do you call it? The mystery as to whether or not it was worth the 30 mil to go down and get him. A lot of people said he's got some qualities about him. Well, I think I saw a little bit today, but I need to see some finished product. Be it assists or goals from him against Zurich, and I guess he'll play definitely PSV, right? So yeah, that's what I'm expecting. We got to go on a 4-game winning streak, go into North London Derby on a really high. We have points in all 4 matches, and then go from there.
Yeah. Tony, what do you want to see?
The main thing I want to see is how much rotation he does, how much is he to rest players, did I bring anybody from the academy into the bench.
Which?
Yeah, I'm a bench, not on the pitch. Bench.
Well, Smith probably will be on the bench for sure, right? He's been in the last 2. He was in the previous game. I'm not sure about today.
Matt Smith.
Yeah.
This is kind of team I put up, but Gunnar Glenn told us apparently Smith Rowe felt something and has to get a scan, so maybe it's Smith Rowe.
So you know what? The fact that he got it in this game and he didn't in the pregame, supposedly there was something there, and we still played him, and then he pulled up lame again. Somebody best did a bad job, right?
Injuries can happen.
No, he was injured in warm-ups. Like there was something about him in warm-ups, is what I saw, and then I saw that he got hurt later. So you're taking risks with this player who's definitely a risk. He's risky with his injuries.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be out, and there's no reason to rush him. We don't need to rush him.
Was anyone, notwithstanding Emil Smith Rowe there, did it again? Stan, your notwithstandings are
I don't think Zaka's gonna be in there. I think we'll probably see Zinchenko.
Zaka plays every game. That's his best ability, Tony. He's available for every game.
You see, I think that had Tomiyasu not been injured at the beginning of the season, then our back four would have been one without Saliba. I have this feeling. But because Tomiyasu was out, he could then move Ben White into that position and field Saliba. Now it looks like he's in 2 minds of what he's going to do now, because they're all basically fit. And I get this feeling that Ben White, he's been quite good out there as a right back, but I don't think it's his best position. But I think that Tomiyasu has been missing out a little bit because Mikel Arteta doesn't know who he's going to partner with Gabriel. Is it Saliba or is it White? He has to leave one of them out if he puts in Tomiyasu. So Tomiyasu, I think, has been missing out on some minutes because he's been unable to make that decision. So for me, going into the Europa League game, I'd like to see Tomiyasu start on the right.
Yeah, I think I 2 starts there.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
He needs 90 minutes before we play Everton.
Okay. All right. So Turner, Tierney, Holding, White. Let's put Tomiyasu right.
I'm not sure, Tierney. I don't know if Tierney's gonna be there or Zinchenko's gonna be there.
For you guys, if Tierney and Tomiyasu are healthy, meaning they can play 90 minutes, are they playing in Premier League games? From here on out.
Definitely Tomiyasu, but for me, I'm going to go case by case between Zinchenko and Tierney, because Zinchenko can give you so much more going forward. If you need a fullback that needs to defend,
when we play North London Derby, I want
Tierney.
If there's a healthy Tierney, I want that guy to be prepared to go in that game. And the only way that's going to happen is if he starts.
Is
So
there any?
for me, sorry.
I was just going to say, is there any chance of Tierney and Zinchenko playing in the same starting 11?
Yeah.
If Zinchenko plays midfield, yeah, but that seems to be not many games. We're not going to see many games in that way, I think, in my opinion.
Everton and who are we playing? Everton
Brentford.
and Brentford. Are you saying we can't put Zinchenko in midfield if we have healthy fullbacks?
Yeah, we can. I just don't see it happening.
No, but I'm saying
Xhaka,
that's
not
why
with
I think
Xhaka.
we would play that.
Granit Xhaka is that midfield starter.
Is there no chance that Zinchenko could start ahead of Sambi Lokonga if Sambi Lokonga continues to maybe have, not so good performances?
I don't see it happening.
Okay,
It is possible. It is possible. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is what is Zinchenko's position with this squad? I don't think coming in did we all think he was going to be our left back?
Inverted fullback.
Oh, sorry. Did we all think
Yes.
that?
No. I thought it would be a decent option for midfield.
Okay, so with that in mind, that's because your initial thought was he was a midfielder for us, not fullback.
No.
And we have two Premier League ready when they're healthy players. That I don't think the issue wasn't that they don't start for us, is whether they'll be available for us.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're available for us, they should continue to start. We can improve that midfield because we just said this game probably was lost in the midfield. And if that's the case, Zinchenko in the midfield is much better than pick any one of the three midfielders who played today. Right?
I was surprised.
You go out for Zinchenko?
No.
So, but I mean, the other two he can take time from.
Yeah.
I understand why Xhaka is never going to come out, but that's why you got Zinchenko, and that's why you have fullbacks that you can win with.
Yeah.
If we go into that's the thing. If you go into that North London derby, and Zinchenko and White are playing fullbacks for us, I think we're in trouble. I mean, just like today, but even worse.
If you go up against Kulusevski and Son with those players, you're definitely in trouble. If we don't have Tierney on Tomiyasu ready to play that game, I would have some doubt in my mind.
The only way you can do is if you plan that out today, because you've got 4 games, and do you just play them in the Premier League matches, right? And if that's the case, then Tierney doesn't play on Thursday.
You can plan to build them up and be ready for those games, but injuries have a part to play in the game as well.
And you got a 2-week international break, which will probably play 2.
And I really worry about Gabriel Jesus going into physical battle.
Oh, that's right. So before North London derby, we got
Fabio Vieira and Marquinhos should start on Thursday night, and Kedia should start. I think Lokonga and Xhaka. Lokonga needs to definitely keep playing. And the rest of the team is there. Maybe Cedric is not there. Maybe Tomiyasu is there. Stan, what's your thoughts? And we'll get out of here. Final thoughts?
I just want to... come back to me.
Okay. Gary, final thoughts. Collect your thoughts, Stan.
Yeah, final thoughts. I guess I'm just going off the cuff here. We have 4 games. We have 4 games to get prepared for the North London derby. We're going to get a rest. So if we're going to get a rest, it doesn't matter how we play, but I would like to make sure we have our Tomiyasu and Tierney ready to go for the North London derby. The only way to do that is if they get 2 to 3 games in these 4 games coming up, because we need it. I mean, it'd be nice to see Zinchenko play in a midfield position and solidify that spot in the next 4 games.
Yeah,
White has to rotate with our center backs, and he can support us on the outside. I think that's where I believe that's where we want to go with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the fullbacks, Zinchenko is a cover just like White is a cover, but I don't believe that's preferred. So we need to come out in October 1st. We should be sitting there going, we've just won our last 4 matches, and another big one at home this time. Let's go get the 3 points again.
Yeah, we need to go again. Why not? Said when will everyone be able to admit we're just flat track bullies with no core depth? Same as last year, same as later Wenger and Emery. I actually did a podcast last spring saying we are flat track bullies, but we need to make that step. And I think today, a couple of things killed us. We just were not controlled enough back. Um, During the All or Nothing, I started with this. Arteta said he'll take the shit, and the media will give him the shit. Stan, have you collected your thoughts?
I have, and my final word is, let's not forget everyone that the first 5 games of the season, we won those games. And whether you say, oh, well, every single one of the 5 teams we played are all rubbish, they're all crap, we should have beat them anyway. Even if you want to say that, I would just draw your attention to the fact that the football that I saw during those 5 games, I saw some good stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw some good stuff, not only in the way that we played, but also in the way the players interact with each other. The way that when we've gone down and behind in games, that we've been able to pick ourselves up, that we don't
Yes.
stand around blaming each other and forgetting that there is a game on, that we get back into it and we correct our deficits. So I've seen a lot of evidence in those first 5 games to still give me a reassurance that maybe some good things can happen to us this season. Yes, we may be a little bit short in our personnel and we didn't get a result today, but let's see where we go now with the next couple of games. Let's see if we can bounce back and come back with a strong win over there in Austria, wherever the bloody hell we're going, in Zurich.
The Swiss.
If I told you it
Switzerland.
would be 6 points ahead of Liverpool at any point in this season,
Yeah.
what would you say? Would
Be,
you say
we'd
they
be
could have
surprised.
6-6? They
Yeah.
have to win. We have to lose 2. They have to win 2 for them to even catch us.
Even after this defeat, right? They're sitting on 9 points.
Yeah.
We're sitting on 15. And I think that's the barometer we need to keep with Liverpool. Keep that gap to Liverpool, maybe in Newcastle as well. On the bright side, Liverpool, Newcastle, and City drop points this weekend as well. It is not easy to pick up wins in the Premier League, but we didn't make it easy for ourselves today. Some people said naive. We were naive, and in the big games, there's that thing that we have to learn from that in those big games. Anyone, Stan or Gary, any final points before we got to turn it over to Tony? Tony, take it away, land this thing, Tony. And listen, subscribe, like, and share if you want this podcast. Thank you.
For me, we kind of got to see a glimpse of what our season's gonna be, because we're gonna see this pretty much from now until the end of the season. We're gonna have these 3 games in course of 7-8 days, sometimes 6 days. You'll see it. You're gonna see how we rotate, how the tactics change, if they change. But we seen today that we stepped back. We weren't being the same team we were in. Way too much attacking from the back, pushed up way too far, and never changed it. It didn't work. Tactics didn't change. So now we're gonna see how much he rotates, if he's gonna use any of academy players in Europa. But right now we're seeing that the team's probably short on depth. We had plenty of chances to increase that depth. Arteta will come up with more bullshit excuses of players not being available. Though in a winter transfer there was, like Bruno Guimaraes, he could have helped us. So we have a easy game next weekend that we should win. Yes, this team played this team good. So it's gonna be a hard game. They're in 16th for a reason. Going to Everton should be easy, but
We're playing at home.
we have a losing record under Arteta, which is just total nonsense. And that's pretty much it.
All right, listen.
One other thing as well, I do worry that we could only be 1 injury away from being really seriously, in the shit. If something happened to Saka, for example, there's no one really there.
Or
No,
Jesus.
that's gonna. Jesus.
I think it's more Jesus.
if something happened to Sambi Lokonga or even Xhaka, we're only one injury away from being in a real, dodgy situation where it's going to
Yeah.
be a sort of a square peg having to be put into a round hole.
I agree. I agree with that, but you have to think about other clubs that are in the top 6 right now, and think about a couple of injuries in their squad.
All
And they're
those teams
struggling.
made
They
moves though. In
Spurs
August.
have a lot of depth.
Yeah.
We did too.
In August, we did not make any moves. We didn't
No,
pick up
but
any players in August.
the window looks bad because we got a lot of our business done early on. Yes,
We had
need
the
to,
same holes though. The same. We still had holes in midfield. We had holes behind Partey. We had a winger that we weren't going to keep, and we didn't replace him. They knew
When's
they
the
weren't
last
going to.
time you remember we had 2 strikers?
They knew
Sold
they
Right.
weren't going to keep Pepe, and then they didn't pick up a winger. They knew they weren't going to keep him. And
Ray, do you ever remember us having 2
every
strikers?
Arsenal player knew they weren't going to keep Pepe, and they showed us they weren't. Let him go. Did not replace him, and now we're talking about where is the support for Saka. That we've been asking for that for years now. Since
Marquinhos.
Pepe's been here. Well, hopefully we see that, right? Hopefully we see that because
Yeah,
we
he
need to
put
see it
my Thursday.
ASAP. Sooner the better. And you know what? That's why at some point he should have come into the games because he's been healthy and on the bench.
Yeah.
We sold 2
So-
strikers. We bought 1.
Have
Yeah.
we ever just had 2 strikers before? Okay.
No, it's
They
very,
call it.
very thin. It's very, very thin on the ground. And if people say we've been training with Martinelli, then we might see it this season. Martinelli.
Even when we were training with him, we never put him there unless it was towards the end
Who's
of a
going to play in
match.
his spot on the left then?
You know what I mean?
Who plays in his spot now? It's
that
like, those
sliding
games
tile.
that game you get, it's like a square bit of
Sliding
plastic,
tiles.
and you
You
have to
keep
slide
moving it
them
around, and like,
to
you keep
try
finding a
and
hole.
yeah.
No matter
It's
what
like
you
that.
do, Stan,
Smith Rowe, if he's healthy, more than likely.
Yeah,
there's always a gap somewhere, no matter what you do. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Arsenal Misfit. Xhaka is easily replaceable. Zinchenko, the left 8. Tierney, the left back. We're stronger with this setup as we now have.
Yeah, there's no way somebody can tell me that Xhaka is better than Zinchenko.
Nope.
Sorry, I don't see that.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but he has been playing well, and I'm one of his biggest critics. But Xhaka has been playing well in the 5 games that
And
we've
to be
played.
fair,
But man to man, Zinchenko for me is a better footballer, and we've seen he can play like he's just better.
He hasn't played.
But Xhaka hasn't done anything to lose his
No,
place.
he hasn't done anything, but I think Zinchenko's done enough to take the spot.
I was going to say he hasn't done anything. I just don't like it.
But now
No. I mean, no. You know what? It's time to move on. For Arsenal, need to move on from this one. But I think Zinchenko is a better footballer. I think Zinchenko can do Xhaka's position better than he can. I believe that.
Xhaka's not playing that attacking.
But I'd like to see it.
He's not playing the attacking left 8 anymore, so you're seeing normal Xhaka.
I mean, he was the captain when I captained him off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll round it out there. Thanks everybody for watching.
As you said that.
We'll see you Thursday. 5 wins in a row, stopped by a defeat up at Old Trafford. The things we wanted to see, we didn't get to see today, and but Gary did win the Kahoot challenge, so congratulations, Gary.
And Mr. Tom will say it's because he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they all say,
Both
isn't
times,
it?
right?
Thanks for joining Mahir, Gary, Stan, and Tony. We'll see you on the next one Thursday night. Stop the rot. Let's win in Zurich. All right?
Stop the rot.
Come on, you Gunners. Stop the rot.